Hey AfterBuzzers, we got a new episode of Bull for you right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome to the full panel of Bull. We got the full crew here, and we don't know why did we pick this song?
I don't know. It came to my head. I was singing
love it.
and now we're gonna final count down the show.
That it is. It is Just Tell the Truth, the 5th episode of Bull. Great episode. A lot to look forward to tonight on our AfterBuzz TV after show. Ladies, tell us where they can find you on social media.
My name is Nadine. You guys can find me everywhere at Nadine DP3.
And I'm Olivia, and you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G.
What up?
And I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter at @TheKevinEllis or on Instagram at KevinEllis25. So, girls,
There
it's been well, I would say it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you guys, but it's the first time that we've been together as a crew, so I'm looking forward to this.
I know. I'm happy. I missed it. You know, it's better. 3 is better than 2,
better.
and you know, it's always a better. 3 is a company, right?
I feel
3's
like
company, isn't that
Three's
something?
Company.
That was a show.
That was
it
a
is,
show.
and it was it
We're
2
so
girls,
young.
one? Yeah, or I don't know.
God, I
No.
thought you were going somewhere else when you
Yeah,
started
I
saying that.
wasn't, but I was gonna say I feel like Nadine and I were so goofy last week that we're lucky to have you balance us out.
Yeah, you need-
because we were getting a little out of control. You sickos can think whatever you want. I was just trying to be cute,
As long as
Oh,
we
this is
do.
great. This is good to be back.
That it is. Well, aside from that, all right. Should we just get right into it?
Yeah.
We might as well. Starts off. Well, we meet the murderer right off the bat. Let's not even sugarcoat it. I think we all knew that at some point in time, Richie's friend was going to come back into the fray. I mean, did we not? I was right off the bat. I'm thinking, all right, this guy's kind of a sleazy dude. He's having trouble paying his rent. He needs this catering job. Not saying that
So he's
if
capable
you fall,
of murder?
So he's not saying that if you fall under that category, capable of murder.
You can't
capable
pay
He
your
just
rent.
seems like a guy
Murderer.
that's down in the dumps a little bit,
Yeah.
and he needs a little bit of help to support himself. But you got Richie and Layla, who right off the bat you're sensing that there's a little bit of tension between the two because I guess the parents don't approve of their relationship. So she heads out of this gala, and he chases after her. But we don't know whether or not he actually killed her. Now, I don't know if you two caught this, but right at the beginning, when we see the slow motion murder taking place, did you notice that this person was dressed up in somewhat fancy attire? So we knew that it was somebody within the gala.
Yeah.
You get that feeling too?
Yeah, because you saw the white undershirt and you saw the black suit. So it had to be 3 people because they only introduced you, one of 3 people, to 3 guys in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I wish that they kind of made it a little bit more harder for us to figure out, but
Because we knew it wasn't going to be the dad, more than likely. I mean,
I
it
did
was
ask.
not gonna be the
We
dad.
thought we
were
didn't
like,
think
you
it was
think
gonna be
dead?
the dad. Someone thought it might have been the dad.
I'm trying to bring you on my team. I just during commercial was like, do you think it could be the dad? And you were like, what?
Planting the seed. I'm like, the
I
dad.
was like, I'm just trying to cause drama, guys. Just trying to cause drama.
Not coming over to the dark side
My
here.
bad.
So right off the bat, this billionaire father, he's trying to pay off our protagonist, Jason Bull, to try and get him on his side, and he was willing to pay him a hefty fee in order to have him help in trying the fiancé, who is Richard. So right off the bat, Sam Perkins shows them the confession tape, and you can tell that Richard, as he's being interrogated, is clearly out of sorts. And mentally, physically, he looks drained. And we learned that he had been sitting there for 11 hours. If you were in that position, all things aside, if you are that worn down physically, have you been in a situation where, I mean, even if it's a couple of hours where you're just like, for me, I've got like a thing where I get hangry. So if I don't get food, my irritability shoots up. But what about you guys? Anything of the sort?
Personally, probably not, but I could see I could see where this happens. And lucky for you, Nadine and I are experts in this department due to a previous after show with a similar situation.
Unlocking the truth.
Yes.
Shout out.
Just a little plug in there.
Okay.
But it's like a known fact that, you know, if you're pressuring someone for that amount of time and they're just looking for an escape, and how many times are you going to ask the same question? They're pretty much asking the question to get the answer they want, and it was pretty clear he wasn't going to stop asking the question until he received the answer that he wanted. And poor Richard was just thirsty, so he was like, you know, I did it, can I have some water?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like so many people have gone without water for like 3 or 4 days and they haven't confessed to murder. So I don't feel bad for this guy, one. Two, like, come on, like, get some more confidence in yourself and man up. But I do like that, like what she was saying, unlocking the truth that we did. And I love that they're starting to implement real stuff and real scenarios from real life into the show and into all these television shows that we're watching, because it makes it more kind of, I guess, relatable and more of like a real show that we're watching. Especially when they threw in about the Cubs, was it? Was it the Cubs or?
Oh, yeah, they were throwing in some sort of sports
reference,
element. Yeah.
whatever.
Because the guy that Chunk was going to go on a date with, is that so?
Yeah.
What was
Was that
what
this
did
episode?
they say? Yes, that
maybe
was this
this
episode.
was
No,
episode.
when they were
I
trapped in the
forget what.
elevator, he was
the
like,
Giants.
"Don't."
Oh, the Giants.
The
The
Giants.
Giants.
Don't drinks the Giants,
That's
and that's
right.
what's actually. No, it's not happening now. Never
not
mind. I'm
happening.
getting all
It's
my
okay.
baseball references.
It's all right. It's
messed up.
New York, so, like-
Regardless of that whole thing, let's just pretend that didn't happen. I do like that they're relating it to real life. But I mean, me personally, I don't know. I've never been interrogated for 11 hours.
No, but I'm not going to forget our pre-show conversation when we were talking about eyebrow threading, and Olivia over here admits that she cries every single time that it happens. So if you had to deal with eyebrow threading for 11 hours at some point in time, would you maybe confess to something that you didn't want to?
I would probably confess after 11 minutes. I can't really say after 11
She's gonna break. She's
pass
gonna
out
break.
after 11 hours.
Just give me a call. I'll come protect you. It's okay.
All right, now that we got that out of the way. So Bull and Richard meet up in jail, and Richard admits that he had this fog in his system. He just didn't feel like he was in the right mental state. But he also mentions that he did feel guilty about leaving Layla to go on out, didn't run after her outside of the gala. And speaking as a guy, I know that personally I would feel some immense guilt myself in that scenario, not chasing after her, knowing that there's regret that what if I was there, could something have been done differently? Do you sense that if you had a loved one in that same scenario, that you would also have that weighing down on you?
Yes, 1,000%. He should have chased after her. But at the same token, like, I know she's dead and stuff and she got killed and is horrible, but like, don't go down no matter how upset you are, don't go down an alleyway in the middle of the city at nighttime and just like
mistake.
completely just stay on the sidewalk where there's lights and like go to like a donut shop that's open 24/7 and go cry there. You don't need to go cry by the dumpster where it smells in a nice evening gown.
Sounds like a true New Yorker here.
So just saying, yeah, I mean, he should have chased after her, but she should have been more smart. So
I mean, even just like as a human, whether it was a loved person or not, if I could see why he definitely felt responsible in this situation, because their argument and caused her to run away by herself. But I do agree. I mean, maybe she was like a little bit privileged, so she wasn't really that street smart. Maybe she didn't know that you shouldn't run down dark alleyways late at night by yourself.
Yeah, no one tells you that.
I feel like
how
this
are you
is something
supposed
that
to
our
know?
media throws out there a lot, though, especially in these murder mystery shows and movies. Like we always
Haven't you ever watched SVU?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, right?
or Bull, but and what 60% of people admit to guilt when the evidence seems overwhelmingly against them. Does that shock
Crazy.
you?
That's crazy.
Sort of.
Yeah, a
I'm
little
surprised
bit.
by
It
that
seemed
stat.
pretty high
Yeah.
for me.
Well, like as we heard the thoughts of one of the jurors, it's like he was like, I don't care how long you question me, I'm never gonna admit to something that I wouldn't do. But I think it's like a situation that you never really understand until you're in it.
Exactly.
We could sit here and say, till we're blue, like I would never do that, but
Yeah.
it's the first for everything.
And these techniques that they're using, like, they use them because they work, these cops, these coercion techniques. So they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with the mind, with the psyche of the person that they're wanting to get this confession out of. And that's how they're able to do it, and it works. So, yeah, so if you've never been put in a situation where someone's, like, purposefully changing your mind in front of you and you not knowing it, then you never really know how you're going to prepare for that.
Right, and I do think that there is this element of, all right, are we really ever going to confess to murder if we're put in that situation? It's like, to us, we feel that is such an extreme. Like, who would ever do anything like that? I mean, I don't feel if I was put in this situation under those circumstances that I would ever get to that point to admit guilt to something I was not actually guilty of. But I don't know. So as it turns out, Danny becomes a little bit more useful. She uses her FBI background to actually check out the crime scene again. And she does so with Detective Murphy, who we learn later on is a little bit more integral part of this case. But she finds two things. She finds what likely the murder weapon was, the garbage can, and then she finds a gem. What did you make of that discovery?
I was kind of like, really? How many detectives were there? And she just literally looked in there and just found that and looked at, like,
Leave it to the woman.
Yeah, okay, maybe there we go. The
All right.
woman doing the man job as per usual.
I can't argue against this. Like, I can't even have any kind of retort.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody.
It just doesn't make sense to me, like, why that would be such a shocking discovery that, oh my God, her head was hit on the garbage can. Like,
You look at the pattern,
So,
you see what
exactly.
is in the area. It seems very simple.
yeah, so it's just, I was like, okay, this is way too easy. I don't know. I just wish they'd made things a little bit harder, a little bit more complex. I feel like they're just taking the easy way route.
I agree.
True. But, you know, for plot purposes.
But to not make things too easy, they go a super complex route when they introduce new technology into the fray in their coercion coefficient, or COCO.
The Coco.
Like, my God, can they throw any more of these algorithm, like, forms of technology into the fray?
I don't,
Like,
yeah.
Don't things like this
get it.
really exist?
and what are they
yeah.
measuring when they were
so
actually
intricate.
doing so? Because it looked like they were also measuring heart rate and other things on top of...
Yeah, but how?
Just-
I'm not sure how they're like getting that information.
Exactly.
It's all, that's the thing, is that I feel like a lot of it has to do with social media and what they're posting on social media and what they're saying. So these older jurors that aren't on social media a lot, I don't know how that data that they're collecting is more validated than someone that's younger on the jury.
Agreed.
So I don't know, but it's basically the percentage, like how easily coerced they are and stuff. And I have no idea how they're able to find that unless you're on social media.
And they
So-
use that car towing scenario. How would you react to your car being towed in this instance? What is your reaction to it? And your response to this question being how easily you are coerced. And I don't know. I think that it's a cool method, and to us it's very entertaining. But realistically, I always question things like this when they're introduced on the show.
Yeah.
Just
How would
seems
you react? How would you guys react?
I think like, have you guys ever taken personality tests before?
Yeah.
They ask you like weird questions like that, like what would you do in this situation, or how would you feel, and they use that to determine like characteristics of yourself. And I could see why the whole towing scenario could lead to that discovery, because they're making him question himself and how easily he's like going back on his own thoughts and wondering like, wait a second, was I told? You know, then that would lead to them being like, well, we could trick you that easily, you know?
Yeah. And if they asked me that question, I was sitting there, I'd be like, well, can I leave, or you guys are paying my ticket?
Yeah.
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I honestly don't look at signs. So they'd be like, just get out of here.
I'm the guy
be here.
who's so anal about looking at the signs that I know full well I didn't get the ticket.
Yeah.
Because, oh God, I hate LA and their
LA is tricky.
parking signs. Have you
Yeah.
seen those where you have like 6 signs stacked up on top of one
Yeah, my
another,
neighborhood.
each contradicting? You know?
And then you're just sitting there, you're just staring at it forever. Just
Yeah.
Which one should I believe?
trying to like, do I start with the 3rd sign and then look up and then go down to the 6th sign, or what's the order?
I will go to such lengths as to videotape the sign, my car, and the time. I'm not even kidding. When I'm that, like, in that moment,
Yeah.
I don't want to get a ticket. I'm not
Tickets
taking
can be
any
like
chances.
$70
They can.
too. It adds up. I know.
Well, anyway. Just showing how anal I am, I guess. So blood on the shirt. Richard and Layla, there was just this little moment where it was mentioned that, oh, he's got blood on, he had her blood on his shirt. But immediately, just in a post that was, I guess, on social media from the gala, she zoomed on in, saw that there was actually blood on his shirt from a glass being broken earlier in the night. And I gotta give them the benefit of the doubt, but just thrown on in there, I'm just thinking, all right, how the hell do they know that she broke a glass earlier in the night?
I know.
Come on.
Yeah, and
Like, where are you getting this? I don't
think
like
it was
these
just
little
a
plot
cop-out.
holes.
I think it was a little cop-out.
television show.
I know, but I get so.
But we
heated
are
about it.
analyzing it, and this is
No,
our
I know,
job.
but they for plot purposes, they zoomed in on that and saw the little sliver of blood.
Yeah, but it just like one, because I remember that was the biggest thing about why he was, not only did he confess, but why he was arrested in the first place was that they found her blood on his shirt.
Yeah.
And the way they made it seem though was there was blood all on his shirt, and when he was holding his hands up in like the photo too. And then they had to zoom in and show the little speck, and then it was over and done with. I wish they had just expanded that little part of the plot out a little bit more.
Well, Detective Murphy, apologies, was put onto the stand, and it was said that Richard had confessed, or at least after he had said he was innocent 59 times. I mean, you have to assume that over the course of 11 hours, you're going to repeatedly say, I am innocent. But do you think that that's standard? Do you think a lot of people in our justice system are put into this situation where they're sat down for 11 hours or however many hours and literally repeating the same thing over and over again, despite innocence or guilt?
Yeah, we've seen, like we've talked about on this show, we've seen these people that are innocent, or at least 2 of them are innocent. We'll talk about that. But yeah, most of them are innocent, and they literally were just coerced. And you watch these tapes, and you watch how long and how someone can just break down, like we're talking about. So yeah, so I think, and the only reason that we kind of know this because we have history and we've watched it. But yeah, it's a real thing, and it's kind of terrifying.
Well,
So
yeah, I think like a lot of times, and someone will have an agenda, and they're going to do whatever they can to complete that. Just like in the previous episode with the journalist, she was just only asking questions that would prove her story and prove her theory. As the cop, like he's suggesting that you did it in ways that he's asking the questions and setting up the whole interrogation.
And the individual who is defending Richard had laid out 3 different reasonings, or I guess steps, as to how Murphy, do I keep saying Murphy had tried to interrogate Richard, and it was exhaustion, the promise of escape, and the reward. And after he had laid out his entire case, some jurors thought that he was still guilty just because he looks guilty. Tell me about that. And I love how they bring these types of, I guess, moral judgments into this show, because it's very contemporary. A lot of times we see in our own, what we're seeing right now with our trust in police officers and some minorities, if they look guilty, arrest them. You know, we have that type of thing going on in our country. Do you feel that these judgments are real, even on a juror stand?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think because they're human. Jurors are not human. We all, as much as we all want to say that we don't look at someone and judge them, we may not just say it out loud, but in our heads I can look at someone and I have ideas. It may be horrible and I shouldn't think that, but that's how we all are programmed based on, the society we've grown up in and stuff. So yeah, it's only natural. And that's why it's so hard for these people that are actually innocent but are being convicted or said that they did a crime that they didn't commit, because it takes so much to prove their innocence. And you really have to do a lot to persuade a jury to prove innocence than for them to just say, okay, they're guilty. It's easier just to be like, oh yeah, he probably did it.
Of course.
So...
Yeah, and Bull and Richard later meet up, and Bull is really grinding on Richard. He's trying to get a false confession out of him, just trying to push him. And it turns out that Richard had brought new information to Bull that he didn't know about, and that was the simple fact that Richard knew that her body had been dragged, and that had not been said until the medical examiner had brought it up 2 days after the initial interrogation. So Bull is already looking into, okay, so what did Murphy know? Did you, at this point, think that there was going to be another twist? Because I was thinking at this juncture that, okay, now maybe the father was actually involved, and did he pay him off? And that was the theory that I was having.
Yeah, I don't know. I
was like, crap, like, did he do it? I hope he didn't do it.
Yeah, that was also a possibility, too.
But then I immediately thought the friend, but I didn't think I didn't think the way he found out that information was the actual way. I thought his friend was in on it and told him how he did it, this, that, and the other thing. I didn't expect that the cop let it slip. And it's so funny that you subconsciously pick up on these things. He probably didn't even realize he picked up that information at that point in time, that she was dragged, you know? Because it just came out so naturally in conversation. Like, you dragged her body and you threw her in the dumpster, and then he automatically registered that and set it back to Bull.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought that it was the detective. I thought that the friend was maybe like the detective's son or something like that.
Okay.
Like there was a relation in that sense that he was trying to protect.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Then it had to be the friend. It just had to be the friend.
Yeah.
Because why else introduce that character? Why have him give him lines instead of him just being extra?
And in the beginning, he was acting so irrationally. Like, I still
he couldn't
don't
pay his
understand.
rent. He's a murderer.
Yeah, but why was he so mad? He was so mad. Like, why are you mad? It was, I think, especially because he was kind of down talking. Poor Layla. He's like, you see her? Like, like, talking smack about her.
Yeah, but we also never find out why he did it, which really irritates me.
It's really bothers me,
I don't like it.
Because initially I thought, okay, is it going to come back to the what was brought up earlier by the billionaire, her father, Layla's father, and that Richard had been involved in some sort of, like, lawsuit, was it? Or he was like let off on a plea deal, and I thought that was going to come back to bite him, as somebody involved in that who maybe he ratted out was going to end up killing him. And okay, if it was Richard's friend, so be it, but like nothing was mentioned from that.
Yeah.
Just a throwaway.
Yeah.
But Chunk comes on in every week and provides a very integral clue somehow, some way, and this time tell us what he brought. If you remember all.
Okay. Tell you. So, due to his extraordinary fashion background, he recognized that this little gem was in fact a cufflink.
Oh yes.
Not any cufflink, a very cheap and inexpensive cufflink, possibly one worn by a service member. Is that what they're called? What the heck are they called?
Let's call him a caterer.
A wait staff, but he called it.
No members of the military that we know of.
No, he called it. I didn't just pick that term out of nowhere. He called a member of the service staff.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, I forgot staff.
Yeah.
But a member of the service staff could possibly wear this cheap and inexpensive ruby red cufflink, and then as soon as he said that clue, it was like a light bulb went off in our heads, and we knew that it was Dominic.
That it was. That it was. And thank you,
So
Olivia.
I love
the
that.
page.
I love the passion.
Yeah,
It's great.
detective work. I like it.
Yeah.
So, elevator scene with Bull was probably the best scene in the entire show, in my opinion. But what do you think about the moral standing of our team here, who's trapping people in an elevator and making it seem like they're gonna
You can't
fall
do
to their
that.
death?
Isn't that
Dear
against
God.
the rules?
Yeah, like where is the actual security camera and where are the actual people that are monitoring if these elevators are working or not? Like how are they they just cut off communication? And what if I thought the whole time that Cable messing around with them, which I think was hilarious, and she's like my favorite human. I want to hang out with her. I thought that was actually going to mess up and like something was going to happen. They were going to get injured. I thought that was going to be a huge like,
Yeah.
bam, juror's dead. Da-da! Bull in trouble. I don't know.
Career over.
Yeah, that was the New York Times headline. But yeah, I thought that something like really bad was going to happen.
That's how Bull gets his southern accent. He just has.
Yep.
Just thinking of Phil McGraw. He's got that like drawl to him.
Phil McGraw, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. But what are the chances that all these jurors get into the ones who are undecided get into the same elevator?
Yeah.
And are there for that? But it's a TV show.
Because all the undecideds, they all hang out together.
Yeah.
You know? Your own kind.
Yeah.
You hang
They're all
out with your own
Decided together.
kind. Yeah. Duh.
So, Bull admits that he never. Bull and Richard were talking, and he admitted that he never wanted to take money again from in a case. He just never wanted to. And I know that we've spoken about this to some degree. That all right, where is he getting all this money from? How is he paying his people? But I mean, it's speaking true to at least where he stands morally going forward. But as we see at the end of the episode, he does actually have a check written to him from the parents of Layla, and he doesn't rip it up or anything. I was almost expecting him to tear it up.
Why?
Yeah, no, I think
know.
that what he was kind of saying there when he was in the jail cell with him was that he doesn't want to take money just to put innocent people behind bars. He doesn't want to just do the job and not really care about the outcome, regardless if it's right or wrong,
it for
the money. But I think him taking the money, he's like, yeah, this is our rate. Like, I helped, like, I found the murderer. Yeah, pay me.
It's like, however, if someone wants to make a nice donation, I wouldn't deny it.
I wonder how much you guys think is on the check.
I was thinking that same thing.
Well, they're billionaires.
You think?
And they paid over rate initially, so.
I was thinking like maybe 200 grand.
200 grand?
Yeah.
Pocket change.
Right? 200 grand.
God, when you think about all the people that they have to actually pay off on that team.
Also,
And the research that goes into it.
What's everyone in the background whenever they're at the office, at the bullpen? We're calling it the bullpen now.
I love it. Good job,
It's
girls.
genius.
I see what you did there.
I still think it's genius. So I'm just giving myself props on the back.
I do
It's
it all
so
the time.
embarrassing.
It's
So when they're at the bullpen, it's like, what is everyone else doing in that office if they're not in this case?
God, they got to be the ones that are on social media finding out that Chuck had a.
Oh
They're
yeah,
the interns.
the interns and stuff. Because
Yeah.
I was just watching the extras at one point, and they're just talking in flannels and stuff. I was like, what are they talking about? See, I want to know the behind.
If they're unpaid interns on,
Yeah.
from university, they're just getting paid with credit.
Exactly. I want to know. I want to show about that. Bull's interns.
I like that.
That should be like a spin-off show of this. I don't know. I would watch it.
We'll pitch it.
Let's pitch it. Yeah.
Okay, so we already mentioned that Dominic had absolutely no motive for the murder, despite sexual assault being mentioned as a prior of his. But, like, I don't know, like, what do you think that the motivation for the murder was?
I was thinking money could have tied into it somehow. I'm just not sure how. Because this is like a rich, like affluent family, and he can't pay his rent, so.
Was there any mention of any sort of cash or jewelry being missing from her? Because it didn't look like he took the necklace. I was waiting for that at the beginning. I was thinking, okay, this is a robbery. This is like Batman and his, and his parents, in their dark alley, and.
This is a Batman sequel.
Just going to that.
Maybe he could have been getting like a reward or something. I don't know how being a criminal informant and killing this person and blaming it on your friend, like, how does he benefit from this situation at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it may have been a love. You always murder out of love. There's murders happen because of love. So he was either in love with our boy. Why am I forgetting his name right now? Richard. Yes, Richard. He was either in love with Richard or he was in love with Richard. And that's what I think happened.
There's no other
He was in love with
option.
Richard, and he was mad that Richard got embarrassed in front of everyone, and so he killed her.
He's just looking out for his boy.
He's a homie.
Being true.
All right,
And he's in love with his homie. I think that's honestly what it was.
Oh, God, we need to write to the writers and try and get this answer.
Yeah. I didn't like that, and I hope that, because I just want more closure on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that we found out who it was, and I'm glad that they realized he confessed to it, but it's like, why? It's that question mark that's just dangling right here, right now.
We didn't really see Benny involved in this episode because he wasn't really needed. We had a public defender. But, and there really wasn't anything else that we saw moving at least Bull's storyline forward as far as, I guess, his story arc and what his background is. Nothing from this episode.
No,
Can't really deal out predictions.
But we saw Chunk.
Chunk.
Which I liked, and I liked how they all had drinks at the end. It kind of reminded me of the Southern episode again, where they were all drinking and hanging out, and how they're doing, like, digging up dirty work on who, like, he's going out with. That I loved. I loved seeing that type of family aspect. I just want to see more of that. I want to see more of their all dynamics and relationships. So.
How do you like them solving the murder within the last minute? Because I feel like that's a theme in this show, is that they saw that, they go through the case, that person didn't do it, but we got a lead, and they come up with some person of interest that they want to throw on in there, and they start investigating it, and in the last scene, that person's either like caught or said to be caught. I don't know.
It's
I feel
like
like
the
they need
cherry
a
on
little bit
top.
more. It's a cherry on top. I feel like I need a little bit more, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm still wondering whether or not there's ever going to be a guilty or Bull's going to lose. I mean, he lost, I guess. He didn't lose. He won down south, but it was he didn't win because they just said, okay, well, we're dropping the case. So
Yeah.
we haven't seen him lose, though, yet. And I'm wondering if he's going to actually lose. They talked about him losing previously, but
I think we will eventually. We'll probably see him lose, but then he'll like redeem himself in some way before the episode's over.
Yeah.
Probably in the last minute.
Yeah.
It's got to happen at some point, but the show has been announced to receive a back order, so we've got more episodes coming beyond the initial 13 to look forward to, guys.
We got the inside plug.
Yeah.
That was posted. I didn't like that. That was made in the media. So ladies, with that, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Well, if you guys want to hear more corny jokes, you can go to @NadineDP3.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thereal_O_G.
And I'm Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter at @TheKevinEllis or on Instagram at KevinEllis25. We will see you again next week. Always find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes. You guys can always join us in the chat room. We didn't really have anybody here this evening, but Hannah, shout out. You did say hi 10 minutes ago.
Hannah.
So thank you. So guys, we got the full crew. We'll be here. See you guys next week.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.